Hello, hello. This is the 178th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2224, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. Happy to be here again, Simon.
Happy to see you, Dirk. And sorry about last week again.
Yes, thanks for letting me into your apartment today.
Yep. Today, exactly. I'm here. I'm on time. I think you mentioned last week at the end of the brief episode you made, but the leisure onboarding session went longer than expected. That's why I couldn't be here.
And it's you sent me a message right on time. I only read it during the recording.
Oh, that can happen too.
So how was the onboarding session? Did everybody fit into your place?
Yep, everyone managed. There wasn't so many of us. There was like 10 of us, so we were able to sit, 5 on the sofa there, and then I brought in some chairs and put a table in the middle. So worked out. Actually, it was pleasant enough. It was pretty basic stuff. It was like, everyone involved is very content and very happy at the idea of being a person of leisure. So it wasn't really an intro in the sense of getting us up to speed, but rather advising us on how to deal with other people in the world if they are more hostile to the idea. Not many people are, but occasionally you'll come across someone who thinks, hey, that's not right. You're meant to work. Why are you meant to work? Doesn't matter. They say you're meant to work. So basically to have points of discussion.
I guess curious could also be like, hey, what is this about? And then how to answer it in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah, and actually, I guess in that sense, a little bit of promotion. So a way to answer it in such a way that it makes other people go, that sounds good to me too.
Okay. Did they marvel at your portal window, or did you have a blanket over it?
Portal window, by now I fit actual curtains on it, so they were closed. So that wasn't such a topic of discussion, but they did appreciate my big Lego city there along the wall.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
That's always nice.
And I guess also if you're a person of leisure, whenever there's something to divert your attention, it's being used, right? So like basically if there's something, how do I put it? Normally you have to wrap something up or finish something, or we're here to do work, or we need to get to our goal or whatever. And I guess as a person of leisure, it's like, hey, let's look at your Lego city. What an awesome idea. Let's do that first.
Yep.
Might also explain why it took longer than expected.
Indeed. Right. There's not, some folk did have other things to go on to afterwards, because just because you're a person of leisure doesn't mean you haven't made plans with friends who aren't.
True.
But at least that evening, everyone was pretty flexible.
Okay. Cool. Well, happy to hear about it. So maybe moving on to the topic of today, we came up with a bit of a different format again. Today we're going to talk about celebrities of the future. Occasionally we get questions about this from our listeners. Who are the famous people in your town? We've mentioned occasionally one or the other, but today we make it a specific topic. And the format is different.
Yeah, right, because you're going to say the celebrities.
Yes.
And I don't know who you're going to say. Yeah. These are celebrities, so presumably I will know about them. But I haven't looked at the list ahead of time. Yeah.
And normally we basically both prepare a little bit. You do a bit of research, you do a bit of research.
But I'll be going off the head here.
Yes, exactly.
Off the top of my head. Off the head. I'll be you'll say the name and I'll say what I know about that celebrity off the top of my head.
And also, I also didn't do any research, or neither of us did any research. I just picked the 5 names.
Like at random?
No, not completely at random. So,
but you didn't look further into the person.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I might know different things than you do about these celebrities, but I just picked 5, and I picked 5 of which I'm either know or I am pretty sure that you know them. And of course, why did I pick these 5 and not other 20? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
and then something that occurred to me is, like you say, we've had people write to us, ask us, like, for example, who are the presidents of all the countries in the world, stuff like that. And such questions do confuse me a little sometimes, because the people asking, so our listeners, asking such questions are from 200 years in the past, so presumably won't know any of the people. Even if they live long enough to learn who those people are later, they won't know them back then, unless it's someone who has been around for a really long time. So anyway, when people ask such questions, we're of course happy to satisfy their curiosity. And like I say, I just wonder why they want to know, but they want to know.
But they also ask us about countries and technology and how to save the world. I guess everything is going to happen later. Maybe
true. And like countries of course, borders change, names change. So in that sense, and maybe there's a presumption, like when they're asking about countries, that they'll stay roughly the same. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe they assume we'll update them. You know, like, oh yeah, this country used to be whatever.
Yeah, we upgrade the countries. Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's a general thing. Is like, I guess our listeners or you can correct us if we're assuming wrong, but you're listening because you're interested in knowing about the future, I guess.
Right. And so, right, listeners, I mean, we'll give you the email address later, but do write to us to let us know why you want to know about the future.
Yes, exactly.
Or not why you want to know about the future in general, why you want to know specifically about, for example, in this case, celebrities.
Yeah.
But either way, we're going to answer.
Exactly. Either way, even if you don't explain yourself, we will answer these questions. And also, it's a fun thing. We speak about technology a lot, I guess, about our everyday events, but not so much about people.
True. Hey, and that could be the thing also. Our listeners enjoy listening to us talk. And what we talk about isn't actually the main thing, you know. They just enjoy our conversation.
They just try to keep the conversation going.
Could be.
Okay, cool. Maybe that's their way of conversing with us.
Mm-hmm. Right, because celebrities were really important 200 years ago.
I guess.
Maybe.
Or you think less important than now?
I actually don't know. I'm just figuring they were. If they weren't important 200 years ago, why would they ask about them? I don't know how it compares to today.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then anyway, let's get
the list.
Yes, to the list.
Okay.
So I've put them in random order. And the first celebrity that I've picked is Madalitso.
Ooh, on topic. Like I just mentioned a moment ago, my Lego City. And right, so for our listeners, Madalitso, she is famous for making really in-depth, really involved videos of herself building Lego models. And, I forgot to mention, sorry, she's an AI celebrity. Celebrity.
Yes.
She's AI. And so in addition to building the models, she'll then make an instance of herself that's the right scale, so Lego minifig scale, to then walk around and explore the models that she builds. And sometimes she'll have guests on her show, other AIs usually, who will help, they'll build alongside each other and then go on a tour of what they've built as well.
I like that format myself in particular, where she has guests on and then she also then... I mean, they talk about their guests a little bit.
Yeah, right, of course. And while they're building, they have a conversation.
Exactly.
And then once they've finished building, I mean, they continue their conversation, but also, explore what they've built.
And they build also often something that somehow relates to the guests. So if it's a Zwaveball player, they build a Zwaveball stadium that looks like the one where they won their first match or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also nice because the models they're building, very occasionally they will be official models, but like you're saying, because it's to do with what they're talking about, usually it'll be something they've designed themselves as well. Either Madalitso herself has designed or her guest has designed, or often it's a collaboration where they've designed it together.
I think it's a well-kept secret that Lego compensates her financially.
I mean, they're sponsored videos, so it's not even... but they're not involved in the design of other than the official models. They're not involved in the design of the models that guests Madalitso.
True, and also they don't have an influence on the show, so she gets to decide who she invites. Good point. You mentioned that she's AI, right?
Correct. Yeah. And right, because we've mentioned before, being able to shrink ourselves even to do that similar thing, walking around in the Lego models. But being AI, Madalitso can, like I mentioned, make a different size, mini instances of herself, and then specifically for exploring Lego models, very small version of herself.
She for a while she would put her mind into an actual Lego figure, and if she has an AI guest, they do the same. So they kind of walk around as Lego figures.
They did that for a while, but it turned out actually Lego minifigs, their range of motion isn't so great. It's really hard to actually walk. Like they look cute, but it's really hard to walk around.
And also their facial impressions didn't really.
Not as subtle, or we're not capable of as many subtleties.
Yeah, exactly. But
But so more recently, she did that for a while. But nowadays, Madalitso and her guests, they tend to, most often it'll be a smaller version of themselves. But then I guess it's more really the clothing. Basically, their appearance will match the model. So just as an example, if they're exploring a model of an elven town, there'll be little mini versions of themselves with pointy elf ears and whatever elves usually wear.
I mean, also the interesting thing is with AI, like they don't have a fixed appearance to begin with, but she still kind of maintains...
Has like a default, I guess like a core appearance, which will have like modifications on it.
Which are kind of... So she's still very recognizable, even though she's completely AI.
Correct.
So of course I started with Madalitso because, not of course, but I definitely knew that you knew her.
I see, yeah.
So for what I also did for each of the celebrities, that's actually a little bit of research I did.
Okay.
For each of the 5, I looked up what their favorite food is, which I think you might not know. In a few cases...
it's not thing. So at least, especially with an AI, AI can enjoy food, but it's not something they're well known for.
But she still has one, which I found. So that's going to be the surprising thing. You guess, and I will tell you.
Okay, and we'll do that now. Okay, so this really is a guess because I don't know. So shall I just to keep it a bit short? I'll just guess one thing, rather than guessing like 20 different types of food. I'm just going to think of something I like, I guess. Mushroom pie.
Nope. No. Not even close.
No. What's her favourite?
Grapes.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're very different from mushroom pie.
Yes.
But also nice. Actually, nicer in this weather. It's pretty hot lately. So.
That's true. No, I think because it's AI, they don't actually eat. Right?
Okay, so more for the appearance?
It's for the appearance, and apparently eating grapes, I don't know, feels right or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. So they're virtual grapes. So
okay.
AI virtually eating grapes.
Yep.
Okay, that was a hard one. I guess maybe of the other ones.
Yeah. We'll see as it goes.
I was going to say maybe the other ones you know, but I doubt it.
I mean, I don't even know who the people or the celebrities are going to be. Yeah, so we will find out.
Okay. So that was nice. The celebrity number 2, Cardassian.
So I know the Cardassian family, but I'm not familiar really with Carl. Like I know the name, Carl Cardassian, but I'm not even sure what he's famous for.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure. A lot of people know. I picked him because as a representative of the Cardassian family. So of course,
I do know. So not about him specifically, but right, the Cardassian family. Their name used to be like it sounds really strange to us now. They used to be the Cardassian family, which is such a weird way. So I think 100 years ago at this point, they were like, "This is silly. Let's just name ourselves." Spell our name correctly, like how it is in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yeah. So they are the Cardassian family. And that makes it just much more simple.
Well, that's interesting. Rumor has it that was his idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
he's not famous for much, but...
Yes,
it was his idea to do that 100 years ago.
I mean, it's with everybody in the Cardassian family. It's a little hard to figure out why they're famous. It's a little hard to understand why do we all know these people. And it's the same with Carl. Like everybody recognizes the name. Like everybody recognizes most of the people in this family. But he, besides the rumor that, or I don't know if it's a rumor, for me it's a rumor that he was the one that initiated the name change. He's actually also famous for one particular thing that he does, and
okay, like an actual skill, yeah. Like
he does have an actual skill.
Okay,
apparently. I had to look it up.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know what it is. So what is it? What's Carl Cardassian's?
He can carve sculptures out of carrots.
Carrot carving Carl Cardassian. I can see that works out well.
Wow.
I mean, depending how you spell it, but at least the sounds, yeah.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
Maybe that's why he chose carrot carving as his thing.
Carrot carving Carl Cardassian. That might just be it.
Maybe that's why they're so famous.
Maybe because it rolls off the tongue,
sticks in the mind,
and picked up on the alliteration here though. But yeah, I think.
Okay, but I've never seen these sculptures. So, but have you seen them? Did you look some? Do they look good?
I not for this episode, but I've seen. I even went to an exhibition.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I guess that's why I picked him, because he's for me a little bit more noticeable than everybody else.
Sure.
Although
and the exhibition, were these like regular sized carrots? So the sculptures, I mean, or were they somehow like genetically modified carrots, the width of a tree trunk that you could carve larger things out?
And there was one really large one, but I'm not really sure if it was an actual carrot or a fake one.
Okay.
You couldn't get too close.
Okay, and you couldn't take a bite, I guess.
No, and it was also, I didn't stay in the museum for too long because they stank.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure.
So, but they were real carrots, at least some of them were real carrots, presumably.
Some of them were real carrots, yeah, I guess.
I'm assuming the stink was the stink of carrots?
I guess so, yeah. It was really food. Like it was a little bit like rotten food stink. But I'm like in this case, especially because of this carrot carving, I've been following him like on and off, or I'm following is not the right word, I guess. Stumbling over
Paying
him
attention.
occasionally. Yeah, like noticing him on the side. Let's put it that way. But still, most of the time, you notice him. He's just being a spoiled rich kid.
I see. Yeah. Even at 100, if you're a member of the Cardassian family, you can still be a spoiled rich kid at that age.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's their trademark or so. I think that's what everybody needs to do. And then some of them have additional
stuff on the side.
Skills like carrots carving.
Okay.
So now my question back to you. Carl Kardashian, which you barely know.
Yeah, but I mean, now, even if it's not his favourite food, I'm going to have to say carrots, because what else could it be?
It's not carrots.
Dagnammit.
But you have to guess again.
Oh, okay.
Because the carrot was too obvious.
Yeah, okay, that is. But then I'm still going to stick with orange food, which, okay, I just said one of them, but that's... Okay, now I'm going to have to say oranges.
Oranges.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I have to read it out loud because it's a pretty long name. It's mint nettle peanut butter smoothies.
I have never tasted that.
I don't even know what it is.
I know nettles, peanut butter, and smoothies, but to combine them all, it's an interesting combination.
I'm wondering if like 95% of the world consumption of mint nettle peanut butter smoothies is him.
Could be.
Or
that's a drink more than food, but okay, whatever. Maybe it's extra chunky with the peanut butter.
I wonder if he came up with it, patented it, and then every Congo in the world producing this stuff, he gets a share.
Could be,
yeah. Maybe that's why it's printed everywhere. That's Carl Kardashian's favorite food.
Yeah.
So people drink and he gets a bit of it. Or eat it.
Sure, yeah.
Eat it, drink it.
I mean, you freeze it put it in the freezer, turn it into a lollipop, then you can eat it.
That's right. Okay, cool. Celebrity number 3. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, sure. Let's say yes.
Okay, so celebrity number 3. Number 3. Yeah. Beatriz.
I recognise that name, and just Beatriz. Yeah. So then, because of course that name by itself, but okay, there's one person in all the world who uses that basically as their name. Yeah. No surname, and that. So she was the president of Brazil a while ago. Yeah. And now, if I remember. I haven't kept track, so I know she used to be the president of Brazil, and before that she was a famous actress, but I actually don't know what she's doing nowadays.
I remember when she was president, and she used to have her own clothing line with her own brands, and so she would always have this printed really big Beatriz on her dresses and so on.
Hey, so fashion designer? Or
yes.
Fashion, okay.
She fashion designer.
Continued in that vein.
Yeah, exactly. So basically using her famousness...
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, but then I'm not myself so much into clothing. I did enjoy her films before she became president, but I'm not so much into clothing myself, so I haven't really... That's why I wasn't really aware of that aspect of what's going on.
I like it. It's kind of like... it's kind of like a casual business fashion, but then with lots of bright colors.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so what would be a fashion designer, former president, former actress have as her favorite food?
This seems extra unlikely, but basically, so it's a similar thing where I don't really have an idea, so I'm just going to do a wild guess. Fish and chips.
I guess it's in the same category. It's black bean stew.
I guess you have mushy peas with fish and chips, and that's kind of like bean stew.
I guess, okay, so there's no fish and no chips in it. No. But at least it's compared to grapes and smoothies. Okay, it's more comparable to fish and chips.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it's a meal.
Yeah, it's a meal, exactly.
You could eat that as a dinner.
And it somehow, like black bean stew, feels also a little bit like casual business.
Yeah, like comfort food,
Yeah,
especially in the winter.
But also kind of like classic, because it's a pretty old food type, so it's very decent, kind of like her clothing.
I see, yeah.
Maybe it's on purpose.
Maybe. Or part of the brand.
Yeah. Okay, celebrity number 4. Are you ready? Danny Trejo, number 6.
I know that name. Where from? Bambi. He plays Bambi in Bambi: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
I know him.
That's definitely him.
And but he does a really good job as that little baby deer. It's impressive how, like, I didn't expect it, you know, when Bambi: The Next Generation started. I learned that he was going to be playing Bambi. So that doesn't really make sense, but no, he has pulled it off throughout the whole trilogy, and now the TV show is doing an amazing job.
It's surprising if you hear that the first time you go like, you can't have anything more unrelated than this,
right?
And then within 2 minutes you're completely into the story.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think everybody was amazed by that. They also attributed to his fame, particularly the fame of Danny Trejo number 6.
Right, you did mention number 6, right? Because number 6 is the one playing Bambi.
Yeah.
But like, to that point for our listeners, Danny Trejo number 6. So he is the 6th doppelganger of the original Danny Trejo, who would have been around in our listeners' time. Like, he was an actor back then too in films.
Yeah, I guess so.
And sure, he every few decades purposefully makes a doppelganger of himself, and this is a little bit controversial. Makes the doppelganger younger.
Yeah.
So using various techniques. Has all the same memories, but is in a new, fresh, younger version of his body.
So not just if he's under 30 years old, making a doppelganger is also under 30 years old. Every time the doppelganger is set back like 60 years.
Yeah.
And because of this time frame...
Exactly. He doesn't go back to being a teenager or a kid, because he was never really famous for that. He's always like starting out as a guy in his mid-30s, late 30s, but then going from there.
And also, like, because at the time, the original Danny Trejo and his first 2 doppelgangers are already deceased.
By now, yeah.
But the 3rd one is still around, and also, like, we're talking about Danny Trejo number 6, but the 7th and the 8th are also there.
Yeah, exactly. Playing younger roles.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But I would say, especially because of his work for Bambi: The Next Generation, that's why number 6 is the most famous Danny Trejo.
Yeah, exactly. That's surprisingly, maybe, because he obviously was in lots of other films before that, but that's really the thing he's most well known for now.
Yeah. So we have a really wide variation of celebrities. Huh? So Danny Trejo's number 6 favorite food. Actually, okay, so it's not his 6th favorite food.
No. But the favorite food of Danny Trejo, number 6.
Which I can give you one.
It's not going to be venison. That would be wrong. What's the hint?
It's the same as for all the other Danny Trejos. So they all have the same favorite
it doesn't
food.
change. Yeah. Okay, and like I say, so I'm not going to guess it because I know it's not venison, because then that would have been just messed up, playing Bambi as he does. Okay, but favourite food, Danny Trejo. Okay, and you're saying it's the same as his original one from over 200 years ago? What did they have back then? What did they eat? No, I was going to say turnips, but that seems unlikely. I'm going to go with my first thought. Often your first thought is the right thought. Turnips.
Okay. No. It's chili con tempeh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's I had never heard of this. I have to admit.
So what is it?
I guess it's kind of like a stew. So chili refers to the spices.
Sure. Yeah.
There's beans in there. Tempeh is some sort of boiled soy thing. And he always eats it with a glass of cognac.
Okay.
So alcohol-free cognac.
Yeah, no, of course. But I mean, not having had that chili, I don't know how they go together. Presumably it's a nice combination.
If Danny Trejo number 6 likes it.
Maybe, we've learned, okay, maybe not the grapes, that's a bit simple, but the mini nettle, or was it not mini?
Mint nettle peanut butter smoothie.
That was it. And the black bean stew, and now this chili. Maybe we at some point try these foods.
We can have
maybe
like
on the show,
We can have a celebrity meal.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. Or even food that's not favored by celebrities.
Sure. I mean, it wouldn't have to be these 3 specifically, but it's just giving me the idea.
Cool. Then the listeners can hear us eat.
And then us talk about it.
Yeah, and describe what we see.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Let's put it on the list. So last celebrity. Celebrity number 5. And her you definitely know.
Yeah.
Jane Smith.
Yes. She's, I think, the most recent of these the celebrities you've mentioned.
Yeah, I guess.
Meaning just in the last month. And she is famous for being the most regular, average person ever.
Yes.
Like, nothing about her stands out, but that in itself stands out. Basically, this newspaper did a thing where they were like, hey, let's find the most average person in the world. They did that. But then as a result of that, she became super famous, written about all kinds of articles written about her. And that's not been great because she doesn't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't seek it out. Like these other folk we're talking about, they either sought fame for the sake of fame, or at the very least, they did something that they put out into the world that they did want people to know about. So then, okay, they get the fame as a result. But right, Jane Smith didn't want any of this, and it's actually turned her life a bit upside down right now.
Do you know that the camps around her neighborhood and out on her usual hover routes are one of the most popular camps in the world?
It does. I mean, I didn't know it, but it makes sense that they are, because sure, everyone now is interested in her.
So what's this very normal average person doing? So she's...
And right, not just the live feeds, but all the historical recordings.
Exactly. And there's a reason they picked her. But it's like... she made her own camps private. Makes sense.
Sure,
But there's nothing stopping people from...
No, the public ones.
She doesn't actually see it, of course, but as far as I understand, of course, people ask her about it. Mm-hmm. Hey, how did you enjoy, your walk in the park 2 days ago? It's like, how do you know about this? Everybody knows. That was,
it's a bit harsh, like we're saying these things and then, okay, but I know about her because she's written about so much. Mm-hmm. Because like another interesting thing, I don't know anyone else who's done this. So we all have cyborg chips. We can use those to modify our appearance, hairstyle, nail length, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But when you want, you can use it for more advanced things, including changing your facial features and skin color for that matter. And she's been doing a combination of these things, trying to mix up her appearance so that people won't keep following her. Like, won't recognize her in public, won't seek her out on the cams.
You think
that's, on one hand, it seems really harsh that she's getting so much attention that she feels the need to do this.
Or maybe her fame is getting a little bit into her head and she's starting to do famous things by chasing her appearance.
I see.
Or she's doing it on purpose to make her less normal so everybody loses interest in finding the next average person.
That, I think, seems the most likely thing. Because, exactly, part of what made her so famous was that she was so normal. Yep. This is not a normal thing to do, so hopefully, for her, when she wants less attention, this would be a good way to achieve that.
As far as I understand it, at least from the rare interviews that I've seen, is that she doesn't care for it, doesn't really enjoy it, but also largely passes her by. Like the discussions and the merchandise and all of this stuff is kind of happening in like a parallel, I don't know how to call it. Like this is happening out of her sight.
Okay, so
because she doesn't see the people that are watching the camps. She doesn't see people buying the merchandise.
Oh, right, and people are in person. At least they're not coming up to her in person to ask her so much about it.
Yeah, so maybe she doesn't actually realize how famous she really is.
Okay, and this changing her appearance so often is unrelated.
No, I guess she definitely knows that she is famous and that I'm sure she still gets the occasional attention. But I think she doesn't realize how big it really is.
Could be.
Okay, ultimate question.
Yes.
Jane Smith's favorite food.
Yes. Okay, but then this one, I know this is super easy, oatmeal.
Yes.
And I know that short because it's written about in the articles, often the headline, at least early on.
Yeah,
most normal person in the world loves oatmeal.
Yes, exactly. And then, I don't know her favorite hobbies and so on, but I'm sure these are all, I don't know, like standard hobbies, like hoverboarding or something like that. Okay, cool. There are a bunch of more celebrities. So
sure, but you chose 5, and that seemed like a good selection, I think.
Yes, I think that's definitely it. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Check 5 celebrities. Mm-hmm. So we have a listener question. Mm-hmm. How about you read it and I answer it? So I get to answer one thing in this episode.
Right, because I've been responding the most here. So this is an email from Reem, and Reem writes, Dear Simon and Dirk, my name is Reem, and I live in Kuala Lumpur. I enjoyed your episode, number 175, about moon terminology a lot. I also have a question about that. If you were born on the moon, which Earth day is your Earth birthday? Here in Malaysia, it can be a certain date, while in Ireland, because of time zones, it can be another date, even though it's the same moment in time. Thanks in advance for answering it. Bye.
Okay, shall I answer it? Mm-hmm. Because we know. It's the place that's closest to the moon at that point.
Like when you're born.
Yes, exactly. So the moment you're born, 5:23, at that moment, if you put a straight line from the moon to the Earth, you might just hit Fiji, whatever date it is in Fiji at the moment.
Yep.
That's your birthday.
Yep. And not from where you are on the moon, or not where you were born on the moon, but rather from basically the two closest points on the moon and on the Earth. Draw a straight line between those two.
Exactly. So,
and then sure, whatever time zone it is at that point on Earth, that's the time zone that you were born in. And then the time on the clock and the date on Earth, that's your Earth birth date.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's of course usually the time zones left and right of that also all have the same day. But of course, there's always one point where it's about to change. Yeah. So that
answers. That's pretty simple. Yeah, like it's not because there could have been some complicated conversion between moon time and Earth time, but it's a bit simpler than that.
I guess a bunch of people sat together, discussed different options, decided, and that's it. Birthday issue settled. On to moon terminology question number 2506.
In a future episode, you mean? Or?
No, not for us, for people deciding these kind of things.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure there's like a committee or something about this. There's a committee for everything.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. This lasted a little bit longer than I thought. 5 celebrities of the future.
There was stuff to say on them.
Okay.
But then, yes, so Reem wrote to us. And I think right at the start we mentioned asking our listeners also, hey, why is it that you want to know things like this about the future? So our listeners can let us know by writing to us at michaellasagna5@gmail.com. Sending an email there will let us know that this episode successfully went back in time, and also pass along to us any questions that our listeners have.
All right. Then thanks for listening, and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.